All right. So compensation plan, getting paid at title. A lot of people have actually been asking me to cover this. Shockingly enough, none of them are on this call. So, what? Apparently it needs a plugin to share my iPad screen. It didn't need that recently, but cool. I got you.
Plug it in, plug it in.
I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Look at me go. Whoop, whoop. You guys see that?
Yes.
Yes. Baller. Okay.
It's so pretty.
Oops. Go back. That's not what I wanted to do.
Where am I going?
Ah, fine. Hit the notes thing. Don't worry about it. All right. So here we are. All right. So I'm going to like real basically go through, and I'm not going to talk about, do something really fast. Okay. I'm not going to talk about like the definitions of PRV, GWV, TWV a whole lot. I'm not going to dig into that. The consultant guide available on your workstation, you get it in your kit. It has a whole glossary in the back of it of all the abbreviations of Sensi and what they all mean. So know that if it's an RV, PRV, it's basically in the USA, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. If it's a wholesale volume, a GWV, a TWV, it's a 75% ratio. So instead of 100%, it's 75%. And so that's why when you go to figure out your numbers, you can't go, oh, 1,000 GWV is 1,000 PRV, because it's not. You would do a very simple math equation, 1,000 divided by 0.75, because it's 75%, you'll get 1,333.3344 or 3444444. So it's only 75% of that number is a wholesale volume. And that's my simple think of that. Everybody starts off across the top here is all the titles. Everybody starts off at essential consultant. Pretty simple. Your goal, I always tell my people, get to 1,000 as quickly as possible. Can you guys see my mouse on that?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Okay. Get to the 1,000 PRV as quickly as possible. And this is not in 1 month. That 1,000 is lifetime. So if you achieve it in the first week or the 10th month, it doesn't really matter. That's when you hit certified consultant. It's your first promotion. The awesome thing about that first promotion is that you get a permanent pay raise. You get a 5% increase in your commission forever, ever. So,
That's jokes.
That's the best part about hitting certified, and why I tell people to get to it quickly. Like, you get in this business almost always to make some amount of money. Why not immediately increase that income by hitting that 1,000 right away? And then you're certified for life. Everything above that, lead to superstar director, you have to have team members. So the one thing I'm going to then skip to, so PRV and then commission from PRV. You'll notice essential, you're always going to be 20% as long as you're essential consultant. That's 20% commissions. If you sell $100, you're making 20. Pretty simple. Once you hit that certified, everything above that is the same amount, base commission, 25%. So if you sell 100, you're making 25. There's nobody gets special status in this company based on title as far as your personal sales go. This top row, personal retail volume, after that 1,000, this is a monthly goal. This 500 is a monthly goal. So every leader in this company starts over at 0 every month and has to sell at least $500 themselves in order to get paid at their title. That's just step one. But they cannot get paid. I don't care who they are, what their name is, how popular they are. Whoop,
Oh
I went to sleep.
no.
She went to sleep. All right.
Ah, comfort.
Bringing her back. There we go. I don't care how popular you are, what your name is. Like I said, everybody makes 25% commission. Everybody has to have 500 PRV every month if they want to get paid on their team, minimum. So you cannot just add people to your team and hope that they do something so you can sit back and make money. It's literally not possible to do that. Thank freaking goodness, that would be a scam. The group wholesale volume, so this goes up to director. Obviously it goes all the way up, but you only see group wholesale volume for lead, star, and superstar consultant. But this wholesale volume, group wholesale volume, is everyone underneath you. So you'll see it'll increase because your group size is going to increase as you grow, obviously. You recruit people, they recruit people, so on and so forth. And as your group grows and you promote, you're expected to have a bigger group wholesale volume. What was I going to say about that? This is 75% of your combined sales of your group. So your group is literally everyone underneath you, whether it's a front line, a down line, another director, it doesn't matter. Everyone who is underneath you is part of your group. After director, because in order to promote beyond director, you have to have directors underneath you. And so you'll start seeing team wholesale volume as well. And the reason for that is once you have directors underneath you, you have to maintain the people who are not under another director are your team. So when Rayanne's director, she has people under, everyone under Rayanne is still on my group, but they leave my team. So my team numbers are different than my group numbers. Does that make sense? So when Rayanne hits director, you have to have 10,000 group wholesale volume to hit director. Her 10,000 group wholesale volume comes out of my team wholesale volume. So I have to still have at least 2,000 team wholesale volume left after her 10 get pulled out for me to get paid at director. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When you hit star director, same thing. Your whole entire group underneath you needs 30,000 combined, but you have to have 6,000 underneath you, underneath your team that are not under another director. So when you're a star director, you have at least 2, maybe 3 directors underneath you. When those directors pull out of your team numbers, you still have to have 6,000 team wholesale volume. That means the way that works, and the reason that is that you can't just promote directors without continuing to grow. You can't recruit 100 people, promote 4 directors, and then do nothing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
This is literally in place so that you still have to keep adding people to your group and to your team so that these numbers maintained as other people promote out. It makes sure that people can't sit at the top and just collect money. They have to continue to get sales. They have to continue to grow a team, because without that, they'll eventually dwindle off this stuff. Because if they're not working, you guys know, if your leader's not working, you stop working. Like, you don't put in as much effort a lot of times, because if they don't do it, why should I? And so those are really, really important numbers to understand. That, look at me, I keep on I was going to do this while I'm talking about that. So it's like I should have just turned off my screen, right? Where's my screen? Display. Don't lock. Never. So that I won't do it. So anyways, so that is the reason for that. The reason you always have to have sales, no matter what level you are. Every month you have to have a minimum of sales, and you have to have a minimum of group wholesale volume. And when you get higher up, you have to have a minimum of team wholesale volume, because you're not allowed to just hit a point and sit there and collect. It's literally impossible to do. The next line is active frontline. So these are people you've personally recruited. As a lead, you need to have 1. As a star, you need to have 2. Superstar and above, it's 3. And active is 200 PRV or above in a month. So without those people, without those active frontline, you could have all the other numbers and it wouldn't matter. You won't get paid at title. And when you get to star and superstar director, you have to have your generational directors. First generation directors, you'll see when I scroll down, there's also second and third that you get paid off of. Generational director is different than frontline director. So frontline director doesn't matter. So if, use you guys as an example because you're on here. Marie is underneath Rayanne. And there's actually a person between them. And so, but if Marie would promote to director before Rayanne did, Marie would be my first generation director because she's the first person in that leg who hit director. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
If Rayanne then promoted, so even though Rayanne's my front line, Marie could be my first gen director. Rayanne promoted to director, then Rayanne would be my first generation director and Marie would become my second generation director, even though there's somebody in between them, because they're the first ones and second ones in that leg. So generational for directors is very different than your frontline. And like when you look at your reports and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, that's how many levels they are below you, but which is entirely different. Did I not just turn that off?
You did.
Okay, cool. Which is entirely different. I was like, I'm not losing my mind, right? I totally did. Entirely different than
Woo. Go Vogie.
what is happening that it's turning off?
Allie, we'll go back to
Auto
Scorch.
lock? Never.
Mhm.
Okay,
We'll
cool.
go back.
So knowing the generation versus the level of consultant, very important. It took me a really long time to figure that one out. I was like, I don't understand. But when you have a leg underneath you, it does not matter where in the leg. Somebody who is 7 levels below me could decide that they really wanted to hit director and run for it and be the first one in that leg to hit director. They would be my first gen director because they're the first one in that generation, that leg, to hit it. Does that make sense?
So when you're looking at the report, like your downline report over where it says level and it's got all of those numbers, that's where they are in generation to you.
That is
Or
the
is that different?
the level of them, like your depth in your downline.
Okay. Okay.
So that's
okay.
your downline depth. It is nothing
Okay.
to do with generations.
Okay.
So anybody like Marie has, if you see like on the levels, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, however many deep you get at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, if 1, 2, 3 aren't doing anything, but 4 does, and
Mhm.
4 ends up promoting to director, they become your first gen director. The 1, 2, 3 do not matter.
Got
They
it.
will still be your first gen. Now, if 1, 2, 3 decide to do something and move up to director, they'll become your first gen director. The number 4 would become your second generation director, because in that leg, there would be one person who's closer to you. That's your first gen. And then the person who's further, the second from you, would be your second gen.
So is the okay? So that first column is generation.
Yes.
And then
You won't show
okay.
that until you have
Okay.
directors underneath you.
I just saw that. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I already talked about commission. I'm ignoring the Sensi Club line. The Sensi Club line does not apply right now, so don't worry about that one. These are the percentages you can earn monthly. Once you hit, actually, I'm going to leave this up here a little bit so you can see titles. Once you hit lead consultant, you do make a small extra percentage on your personal wholesale volume as well. You get a bonus on that. And so your PRV, whatever that is, 75% of it, right? Wholesale volume is always 75%. You will make 2% on that 75%. You will make 4% as a star, 7% as a superstar, 9% as a director and above. Does that make sense? So this is literally just extra on top of your commission here. So you'll still make your 25%, and then this is percentage of that 75% of your PRV. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then you can only make, once you hit lead and you start building a team, you can only get paid on people underneath you who are frontline. You get paid on their team wholesale volume. So it's very important to have a wide front line and teach your front line to also build front line and teach that front line to build front line, because you want to go wide and you want to go deep. But if you're not wide, the deep doesn't matter. So you definitely want to go wide, and you're only getting paid, and you want as many active frontline as possible. So you will notice when I've posted numbers in the past of people's paychecks, like directors and above that have shared paychecks, the ones who make really big buku bucks have very active frontline. And I got told early on to always get 50% of your frontline active. And I have lived by that. And you guys know my whole thing about if this is your hobby or otherwise, if you're more than a hobby, it should be more than that. But I don't care what level you are in this business, your goal every month is to get active. I have said that since day one, because this business will be very frustrating if you're not concentrating and consistent enough to at least be active every month. Nothing maintains itself if you don't put in a little bit of effort. And so I've always stated it, your goal, even if you don't hit it, you're going to do more than nothing if you're at least trying for active. And so you're really shooting for that. But you will never get paid on frontline who are the same title as you or higher. Okay. So if you are a lead, you'll see the only place there's a percentage here is for frontline, essential, and certified consultants. If you're a star consultant, the only place that there is percentages is frontline, essential, and certified, and frontline lead. If you're a superstar, same, essential, certified, lead, and star. So no matter where you are in the system, you are not getting paid on anyone who, until you're higher up, until you're a director above, and then it like changes a little bit the way that's done. But generationally, you don't get paid as deep. So because that's the only way they can control that. But you're not getting paid on anybody through director. You're not getting paid on anybody who's the same title as you. It'll only be people under you, under that title. So it's one of those things too. If you're going to build a team, stay one step ahead of your team. Because if I didn't stay one step ahead of everybody, anybody who caught up, I'm not going to get paid on, right? So once you hit director, that changes a little bit, like I said, and I'll get to that in a second. But until then, you have to be at that. And that means, by the way, let me just back up slightly here before I get to director and above. If you are a superstar consultant and you do not achieve these things, 500 PRV, 6,000 GWV, and 3 active frontline. So let's say you're fine, you hit your PRV, but you do not hit your GWV or your active frontline, and you only end up getting paid at a star consultant level, This is where you lie. Sorry, my mouse is being weird. This is where you lie in here. This is per month. So this is your monthly compensation plan. So if you're only getting paid at Star Consultant, you are not getting paid, even though your title is Superstar Consultant, you're not getting paid on your Star Consultants. Does that make sense? Because that's where you fell in the compensation plan that month. So this is monthly responsibilities. The other thing, if you are a lead consultant, and this applies to a lot of people on this team. So I'm going to say it really loud and really clear. There's a lot of people who get very excited about building a team and getting to lead consultant, and then they do diddly jack shit. And I'm going to be really blunt right now about it, because there's a lot of people sitting at lead consultant who haven't ever got paid again at lead consultant. If you're a lead consultant and aren't getting paid at lead consultant, and you're not doing the work to get paid at lead consultant, you do not have to be a leader. Being a lead consultant doesn't do shit if you're not going to do the work to get paid at lead consultant. If you are not getting paid each month at lead consultant, you are not in the consultant locator. Most people get to lead consultant because they're like, ooh, if I get to lead consultant, I'm in the Sensi.com consultant locator. If you are not paid at lead consultant, you are not in the consultant locator. Sensi does not reward you if you do not do the work. So I'm just going to drop that real subtly, like, because there's a lot of people who have been very excited about getting to that point and then put down their work and thought they were in a good spot. And I want to make sure you understand that you're not anywhere. As far as Sensi is concerned, if you've stopped working, you're a certified consultant, and that's where you're getting paid. And that's where you're considered as far as Sensi.com goes, which means you don't get anything from the lead generation. So if you're a lead consultant and you don't want to build a team anymore, and this is just a hobby for you, don't have a team. You can be a non-recruiting consultant. Your team rolls up to the people above you and you just chill in your hobby. Cool. Don't have a team if you're not going to show up for them. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to anyone else. So that's my rant on that. Now I'm going to go back to account con. So just straight up being really honest, if you're going to promote and then you're going to like piddle out and not support your team and not let anybody know that you're not supporting your team, you're hurting everyone. So director and above, a little bit different. These FAR 3 are director and above. And so you make a percentage on your directors here. So your first generation director as a director, once you hit star director, you make on your second generation directors as well. And then as a superstar director, you make on your third generation directors. And that's the end. So there are people that I know who have, I mean, Christina's like, it's like something stupid, like 10 generations deep in directors now, something really dumb. So anybody below third generation, she's not getting paid off of right now. But you never know when somebody's like journey comes to an end with Sensi and they roll up, right? So like you still want to grow deep, you still want to grow wide, because you do, that's where wide comes in handy. You do keep making money on every first generation director, every second generation director, every third generation director, limitlessly. If you have 100 first generation directors, you're making 3% on every single one of their teams. And this is on first generation directors TWV. What does their TWV have to be as a director? I'll scroll up a little bit.
2000.
2000. Okay, so 2000, if they were exactly at 2000, but I'll tell you what, most directors don't have anybody. My TWV right now is much more than 2000 because it's all 90 of us. So if they don't have any other directors underneath them and all their TWV matches their GWV, because until you have directors under you, that's the case. So, just on my TWV right now, this exact moment, Christina would make $570 just off of my TWV right now. Just mine. Plus her PRV, which is over 4,000. Plus, like, it stacks up quickly once you start having the PRV and you start building the recruits. So, so just for perspective, the other little tricky trick, and we talk about it sometimes, but I don't know if I'm clear about it. This 25% commission can change to 30%. If in that month you sell 2,000 PRV. If you sell 2,000 PRV in a month, you automatically get a 5% pay increase. It's why I talk about leaders getting to that point where 2,000 is your norm, because then you make 30%. You know what 30% of a 2,000 PRV month is? $600 just on your PRV, not counting your PWV bonus, not counting your downline bonus, just your own sales, $600. So that is my info on this. Is there anything I didn't cover? Is there any questions? Did I make something sound confusing?
No, where did Marie go?
She ran away. I scared her off.
She's like, what? I don't understand this. I'm leaving.
Screw this idea, Dawn. Bye.
Oh, my dog keeps barking for no reason. I'm like, shut up.
Oh, I couldn't hear that.
Mine's quiet for once. I cannot believe it.
She's literally sitting on the couch barking at nothing.
Oh, it's because you're talking. She's hearing people talk on your phone, and she thinks that they're there.
That could be it. Yeah, that makes
Guys,
sense.
Bert didn't come up here yet.
Did you hear the bangs before?
Did you hear the what?
The bangs.
Which bangs?
I don't know. There was two like loud pops.
No.
Heidi's just
No, I'm asking my husband because he was outside. Like a little bit ago, people were talking about loud crashing noises. It happened
Oh,
twice in 10
Weird.
minutes.
all right.
I wasn't paying attention for you.
This all
I
made
know.
sense. No questions about this.
I had one question.
Yeah.
What was it? So say somebody moves above you and you don't get paid on them. Once you move back above them, if that were to happen, then do you get paid on them again?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to verify that.
This is monthly. Notice it says monthly responsibilities, monthly rewards. So
Okay.
that changes every month, right? So if like the example I gave with you, and you and Rayanne, if you would happen to rank past her and your title went past her, at least till director. I'll explain that in a second. Good question, because that reminded me to mention that. But if you would become director and she was a superstar consultant, she would not get paid on your part because you'd be past her in title. So she couldn't, right? She couldn't, literally cannot, as a superstar consultant, get paid on directors. Right. But if she then promotes to director and you're the same title again, and I'll explain why that is with director, she'll get paid on you again because you get paid on your directors as director. If I went back to and said you promoted to superstar consultant and she was still a star consultant, same thing. She can't get paid on a superstar consultant if she's a star consultant. But if she hits superstar consultant and then hit director and you were still superstar consultant, she would earn that payback. Because as the director, you make money on your superstar consultants, right? So the other thing is that with directors, once you hit director, a star director, a superstar director are all considered directors for the sake of the compensation plan. So when it says first, second, and third generation directors, it doesn't matter if you're a director, star director, or superstar director, you are still considered someone's director. So
Okay.
Rand turning into a director, she will be my first generation director, no matter which level of director she is.
You're close.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So once you hit director, for the sake of the compensation plan, you're always considered a
Sounds-
director. They don't differentiate because they don't pay differently based on, they don't pay someone differently based on what director title their first, second, or third gen director is.
So example, so Christina, if Lacey, Stephanie, Cheryl, any of those promoted to SSD, Christina they would still be considered a director under Christina's.
Yep.
list.
And like,
Okay.
and here's another backwards example. Christine, the person who's Christina's sponsor right now, she's rolled up several times. The person who's her sponsor currently, according to the workstation, is actually a star director. She still gets paid on Christina as a first generation director, even though Christina has passed her and she's a superstar director. But it does not matter if you are a director, star director, or superstar director, you're still a first generation director or second generation director.
So that person, so her upline gets paid on her, not just her, but her team as well.
She gets paid on Christina's TWV.
TWV, right? Okay, but not the GW. Okay,
Correct.
got it.
And she
got
would
it.
only, because she's a star director, she only gets paid on Christina and
Right.
Christina's second gens, or Christina's first gens, her second gens. So all the people that are third level for her, so Christina's second gens would be her third level. She does not get paid on those because she is
Okay.
not a superstar director. She does not get third generation director pay.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
So that's where the pain comes in as far as pay goes, is she's losing a whole generation director bonus by not being an SSD yet.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Now, did you say that? Who told me that we are in Deanie Morehouse's lineage? Was that you that said that, or Christina? Are we in Deanie?
We are Deanie's ultimately, yes.
Are we? Okay. For those that don't know, Deanie is
believe
like
all the way-
she's like one of the originals.
She is the first consultant.
Hmm.
She was the number one. She was
Yep.
friends with Heidi and Orville, and they went to her and asked if she would be their first consultant. So she's an OG.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Yeah, people are you're either ultimately under Deanie, Heidi, because yes, Heidi is a consultant. Colette.
Yep.
I know those three for sure. So there's no one person that everyone funnels to. They started out with multiple links to begin with, so there is no one person. So, but Heidi's still a consultant. Heidi still puts in her PRV. There are people who get team mail from Heidi Thompson. So most people don't know that. She doesn't advertise it, but just FYI.
No, I wouldn't have known that. Good to know, though. I mean, how is it that you get team mail from Heidi? I mean, I get giddy just because she likes a post of mine, let alone team mail. I mean, come on.
So, fun fact.
I was gonna say that's something I didn't even know, and I've been a consultant for how long? So
she does. It's not like a hugely talked about thing, but yep.
Nice.
Any other compensation things? Paid at title things? I'm trying to think if I missed anything looking at this.
No, I feel like you went over all the questions that I would have had.
Okay.
Honestly, asking as like a newer consultant.
Okay.
I know it gets confusing once you hit like the director area, but you explained it pretty good. I
And
think.
I think the most confusing thing about hitting the director area is that you'll end up having directors underneath you, which is why there's the difference in the GWV and TWV. And that starts to feel trippy after a while. But that's the reason why. It's literally, the purpose of it is that no one can sit back and just make money. If somebody can sit back in a business and just make money, that's a scam.
Yeah.
If all they have to do is keep adding people to their team and sit back and do nothing, that's a scam. You still have to put in sales no matter what your title is. Your group still has to put in sales. Your team still has to put in sales. And because of those things, you still have to keep adding people to your team. Because if you don't, people will fall off. That's just the nature of things. It's what happens. I've watched people do it, get too comfortable. And I mean, you can lose your title. You cannot lose your title. That's a good one. You cannot lose your title from up through superstar consultant, but at director, star director, and superstar director, you can lose your title. And I know people who have fallen all the way back down to superstar consultant. So it is a thing that you have to keep working. You cannot hit the title and be like, I did it. Nope. Sorry about you. That's not how it works. So you can lose your title and drop all the way down to superstar consultant again from superstar director if you were that lazy. I'll just use the word. If you were that lazy. And those are things that keep us from being a scam. You have to keep working your business to get those things. And you have to do these things every month to get paid at them. It isn't the only one that sticks forever is certified consultant. And all that sets is your base pay, your base commission. Everything else, you have to hit that every single month. Every month. So I'm going to stop recording I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to stop recording on the compensation plan and paid at title training.